food. It surprises me how many people do not have a solid grasp on the concept of food, on how fragile society is. Historically, food was something you pulled out of the ground, something you hunted, something you chased, something you went after. And then it became a farm, it became a place you grow it, it became simplicity, it became safety, it became the domestication of the animals. But as the animals became domesticated, we ourselves forgot that we ourselves are in fact animals. And through our forgetfulness of knowing that we are animals, as we domesticated our farms, our creatures, we slowly but surely domesticated ourselves. We succumbed to the owners of the world and we became owned. We became that which we had sought to be. And in that, we now move all the way forward to today, where if you're watching this video in an industrialized nation, if you're listening to the insane ramblings of a man at 2 a.m. walking down the street, you know that we, in fact, identify food as a supermarket, as a restaurant, where it is prepared, packaged, and processed for us, where the food has little to no representation of that which is a plant or an animal. But even to you, the health nut out there, who's going to get your plant food, your vegetables, your fruits, you're going to eat your meats, you're going to stick to a whole food diet. You have to acknowledge that we are suddenly in an age where the healthiest person and the most survivalist individual is the one that avoids foods, but is at the same time obediently in line, chasing economics, chasing the capacity to buy the best foods, because the simplest food, a simple tomato that is not chemically altered, genetically altered, and full of pesticides, is somehow more expensive than the processed slow death that most food has become. We, as a society, as a people, as a whatever we have become, are dependent on an incredibly fragile system. A system that didn't have to be, but has yet become. So to get your food, if everything were to shut off overnight, in the next moment, in the next second, there's a book you ought to be reading. Well, the supermarkets are empty. And the vast majority of citizens of this world, especially in the industrialized nations, live in cities. The urbanites have no means to collect food, clean water. Go ahead and drink from the stream that runs through downtown big city and see how quickly it ends your life. And I guess because we're in the society where no one has critical thinking, please, that was sarcasm. Perhaps poor sarcasm. Please don't drink out of the river in a city. There's no chance of it being safe. But when it comes time, that it may perhaps come impossibly soon, everything stops running the way it always has. How do you get food? How do you balance out your carbs, your protein, and your fats? How do you identify them safely? And how do you acquire them? How many people cannot even conceive of a world where the light switch is switched off? Because all of a sudden, from 2020 all the way up to now, 2025, a carton of eggs has gone up so expansively in price that we cannot afford them. But not 1 or 2 generations ago, a carton of eggs was the cost of walking out to the chicken coop. A carton of eggs was the cost of going outside. How much does a steak cost? Because not too long ago in our history, the cost of steak was launching the arrow from your bow and just being good at it. And that's where so many people have no comprehension of what food actually is. Somebody grew your tomato, somebody grew your carrot, someone picked it and cleaned it. Somebody shot your meat, and if they didn't, did they chemically end it? Did they bolt to the head? And then they stripped the body hanging from a high. And somehow, despite this being a very perfect and apt description of every meal, of every breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack of your entire life, someone's offended. Someone's feelings are hurt. And someone is uppity and upset about the fact that they have such a limited understanding of what food is. It's been said by many, facts don't care about your feelings. But when the system shuts off, and I mean to truly say shuts down, what is food for someone like you? Do you have the capacity to acquire your own food? Or is this a story about your last day, your last week in this world, in this life? Because you do not have the simple understanding of how fragile this modernized world is. This modernized world that most don't even like. Is it safe? Yes. Is it easy? Yes. Is it convenient? Yes. But money no longer follows a gold standard. So some handful of genuinely a single-digit number of people can dictate the cost and make it so you no longer have food. But in the end, the cost of walking down to the river can still be free. Casting a fishing pole and waiting, drinking from the stream. We invented a terrible situation. It wasn't like this, and it never had to be like this. But for now, I'm going to go to bed, because perhaps next time what we should talk about is how far more valuable sleep is than watching one more episode of Netflix or TikTok or whatever it is you're addicted to. Bye-bye.